All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson. So if there's one thing I've noticed that gets MMA fans really excited, it is the possibility of cross-promotion fights. And I'm not just talking about like regular, any old cross-promotion fights, but specifically champion versus champion fights, to see one promotion's champion versus another promotion's champion. And if it's not to decide, who's necessarily the best in the world, but at least the best out of those two promotions and those two divisions. And I have one fight in mind that I think would make for a particularly good cross-promotional champion versus champion fight. I'm talking about Deep Jewels Atomweight champion Saori Oshima and Alesha Zappitella, the current Invicta FC champion. Both fighters are fairly recent champions. Zappitella just won her title back in September of last year, so little less than a year as champion with only one defense, whereas Saori Oshima just won her championship last month in the conclusion of a tournament where she had to fight twice in one night. So both are fairly recent champs and are still looking to really solidify their championship. Now, both of these fighters also happen to be on nice win streaks. Zappitella is on a 4-fight win streak with one finish, and Oshima is on a 3-fight win streak with 2 of those wins coming by way of finish, both of them by submission. And also, both of these promotions have somewhat worked together before. Deep Jewels fighters have gone over to Invicta before. And when it was just Jewels before it was picked up by Deep, they would send fighters over, and they would each promotion would send fighters over to the other, so they would do cross promotion fights before. So could easily be done again. So I like the possibility that this fight could happen, and I'm certainly going to push for it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats on these two fighters. Zappitella comes in as the slightly more experienced fighter at 9-2 to Oshima's 6-2. However, both are the same age at 26, and both are basically the same height at 4 feet 11 inches, with Zappitella being 1 centimeter taller at 150 to Oshima's 149. I don't have a reach available for Oshima. Zappitella's is listed at 152. So I really like the stylistic matchup here. Both are primarily grapplers, with Oshima being a judoka and Zappitella being a wrestler. However, it should be noted that neither are afraid to stand and strike when necessary. So if either fighter can't get it to the ground, they will stand and trade. But on the ground is definitely where they do their best work. Now, as far as advantages in different areas, I would give the advantage in punching power to Zappitella. I've never seen Oshima really hurt anyone with her strikes, whereas I have seen Zappitella drop at least one fighter on one occasion with her punches, and she throws big overhands. However, Oshima is definitely the more active fighter on the ground. She's constantly moving, constantly looking for scrambles, constantly looking for finishes, and she definitely has more of a killer instinct. She has 4 wins by finish to Zappitella's 2, even though Oshima has less fights. So I think this makes for an interesting style matchup here. You got the submission hunting judoka versus the more stifling wrestler. Makes for and then again, these two fighters, their grappling could cancel each other out, and then you have a stand-up battle on the feet. We've seen it happen time and again, so it could go, either way there. Now, this fight could happen. It could happen in Deep Jewels. Zappitella could go over to Japan and challenge for the title there, or it could just as easily happen in Invicta. If Oshima wants to, try her hand overseas, she could go to Invicta and challenge for the title. I mean, like I said, it wouldn't be the first time that fighters from Jewels or Deep Jewels have gone over and fought in Invicta. It wouldn't be the first time a champion fighter has either, because Mizuki Inoue, who fought for Invicta for several years, was the Deep Jewels strawweight champ, still is listed as their strawweight champion. Now, if neither promotion wants to host the other or risk having an outsider come in and win the belt and then not go home and not be able to come back and defend it, which is a reasonable, reason to be hesitant about this, there is a third option here. Rizin has hosted fighters from both promotions on multiple occasions. Zappitella has fought in Rizin before. Lindsay Van Zant went from Invicta to Rizin before, although I think she was fighting on behalf of Bellator at the time. Jinyu Fry has gone from Invicta to Rizin before. So fighters have gone from Invicta to Rizin, and there have been a number of fighters that have gone from Deep Jewels to Rizin, because Deep has a partnership with Rizin. So if neither promotion could work it out to host the fight themselves, then they could easily send both fighters to fight in Rizin, and then neither of them has to worry about either title being on the line. You could just say, well, whoever wins is then number one. So there you have it, my idea for a champ versus champ cross-promotion fight. I think this one's exciting, and it's in a very exciting division, the Atomweight division. If you followed my channel for even just a short amount of time, you know that I love the Atomweight, so I think this is a good fight to make. Invicta, Deep Jewels, Rizin, if anybody from those promotions happens to come upon this, please make this fight. It would be, I think it would be very exciting, should be a very fun fight, and the fans love these kinds of fights. So let's get it done. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Now, if you liked the video, please give it a like, share it as well, help the channel grow, and help get the hype for this fight going. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.